is. Oh. I forgot something. You know what? I'm just gonna use headphones today. When I use speakers, I like to try to sync up the game audio with the mic audio. Because if the mic audio picks up the speaker sound, I don't want it to sound like an echo. But today I am a little too lazy for that. Hopefully it switches like it's supposed to. Test, test. Test, test, test. Something feels wrong. But that could just be my depression. I think I could afford to make the game louder. Test, test, test. Yeah, I think that's fine. If anything, I need to be aware that if I, like... what's it called? If I mumble, if I talk very quietly, it's not going to... could be drowned out by the game. No, I don't think so. Even when I talk quietly, the game is still quieter than me. Test. Then again, right now I just have one car. Let's go down a little bit. Problem is that sometimes the game makes sounds that are very loud, regardless of your own engine sound. Okay. Earn a clean racing skill in any Horizon open event. How about you go fuck yourself? Also, so the game has some very odd frame rate options. You can have unlocked, you can have your refresh rate, or you can have half of that, or half. That's not half. Yeah, you can either do one of these super low ones or max refresh rate. The problem is, I'm playing the game with like all the graphic settings maxed out, so when I do this, I don't actually hit 165, and my CPU starts crying. Maybe that's fine. Holmes knows. What's that gonna do? Gymkhana, Ford F-150. I don't like those cars, but what can you do? '83 FPS / 83 hertz is not my preferred refresh rate. Like, with this game, I mean, right now I have it unlocked. With this game, as you can see, I am hitting well over 100. This isn't a drift car, is it? No, it's not. With this game, you can see that I'm clearly hitting above 120, but I'm not quite hitting my refresh rate. And for me personally, I see a lot of difference between 60 hertz and 90 hertz, and a little less, but still between 90 and 120. And after 120, I hardly notice any difference anymore. So, since I have a 165 hertz monitor and I paid €1,000 for my fucking GPU, I wanna have the game running at a nice refresh rate, but obviously it's also, since I have everything cranked up, also it's not hitting my refresh rate, my native refresh rate. So for the longest time I had it, I was using the max frame limit in NVIDIA control panel. I was using the NVIDIA control panel frame limiter for limiting the game to 120, I think. Which is a good frame rate, a good refresh rate. However, it turns out, like, at some point I noticed, like, months ago, that I am getting, or rather, when I got the GPU and cranked up all the settings, I noticed that there's flickering on certain objects in-game. I didn't know for the longest time why that is, but the other day I found out it's because of the NVIDIA control panel frame limiter. If I turn it off, if I let the game do whatever it wants with the frame limit and refresh rate, G-Sync enabled, but otherwise don't limit the FPS with NVIDIA control panel, all the flickering is gone. That fixed it. However, now I have the issue with the fact that the game does not offer very good frame limiting options. Like, I don't want to play at 83 FPS, but I also don't want to have my CPU strained so hard to 100%. It's not even my GPU that's the issue. My CPU can't keep up. I'm completely CPU bound now. And the game only offers your native refresh rate and then half of that, and everything else is lower. And I don't like that. Are there any cute designs for this car? Or any like good looking ones? Or maybe even both? Morty, I've been turned into a Ford F-150. Oh, these designs suck. Alright, let's look for anime then. I'm sorry, I mean cartoon. The other day on Vine Sauce's stream, he talked about South Park. And how he's been watching it. Like, just casually. And I thought South Park was bad. I thought it was cringe. Ah, yeah, furry avatar. Looks good though. Good on them. Oh no. Oh, that's a suspicious looking design. Sus, if you will. Just closing all my windows. You know what? It looks vaguely trans flag colors. I don't know, you know what? It's fine. This is fine. I'll do it for the stream. Full disclaimer, I would not be using this livery if I was playing solo. I kind of have standards. Drift tab. How do you do that again? I could totally just play it at 83 though. 83 is not that bad with a racing game. I've played through Burnout Paradise on 60 FPS and that was fine. Oh, this looks bad. This looks real not good. What's that on a drift tab? Oh, that's it. winning the Volcan Sprint. Where was that again? I think that was a blue event. Hill climb. Oh, that's the one. To be fair though, the game runs pretty well even when it's unconstrained. We don't need the stats up there. What is this gearing setup? But yeah, now that I figured out what caused the flickering, I can actually enjoy playing in, like, cockpit view again, which is neat. A lot of cars have such detailed cockpit views. It's really nice. Mogus. I haven't streamed this game in a while, but I have been playing it pretty frequently. I can't hear myself that well. That's a problem. Okay, so what do we do about that? The solution is turn up the gain on the mic and test. Okay, it should be around 15 decibels. Turn up the gain. Test. Good. On the mic, and then turn down the gain in Windows settings. Test. This sounds correct? Question mark? I mean, I'm pretty, okay, hold on. Test. I think that's how it was before. Okay, so mic input volume should be the same pretty much as before, except that now it's louder for me in my headphones. Ideally. Yeah, it's always hard to judge from the volume meter, but I don't know. Maybe I turned it down too much in the Windows settings, but then I could turn up the gain on my end so that I can hear myself even better. A little bit more. How high is it? It's almost maxed out. Okay. Mumble, mumble. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism from a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. Okay, I think I have to turn it up in Windows settings. Just a little bit. 20 minutes. How is this? When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch with its path high above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. Test, 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 test. A little bit higher. Okay. I have a compressor on my stream, so yeah. So even when I mumble now, it should be... Oh, it's definitely still well in the yellow when I mumble. Let's do a little bit less. Okay, just keep it that way for now. We'll see in the long run how loud is the game now. Okay. I can hear myself. I can hear myself through the game very well. It would help if I had someone here, like a friend, who could confirm how it sounds. It's always difficult though, because the game audio fluctuates. The game audio is going to fluctuate, and my mic audio will also fluctuate in volume. Yeah, I think in my headphones my voice is louder compared to the game now than it is on the stream compared to the game. Or maybe it's not. No, I think judging by the volume meters, judging by the volume meters, it's actually pretty equal. In my headphones, my voice now is about as loud as the game. A bit louder. There are some peaks in the game, like when I drove through the finish line, the game got real loud and it drowned out my voice. But I think it should drown it out when I'm mumbling. So I think that's fine. I've never seen that car before. Huh. It's always difficult to figure out volume mixing, because games will sometimes be quiet and sometimes be loud, which is okay. And one question to consider is, do you want your game to drown you out sometimes if it has a high dynamic volume range? Personally, I do. Because when something is loud in the game, it should be loud on stream. When it's quiet in game, then it should be quiet on stream. Like the median volume of the game should be, I don't know, a little lower than the voice volume. It's a trade-off because if you make it so that the highest volume points of the game are less loud than your voice, then 90% of the game is going to be considerably quieter than your voice. And so that ends up with the stream being mostly my voice and no game audio. So for me, it's a nice trade-off to sometimes have the game drown me out. And like, if it drowns me out, I know that. Like, I'll know because I can see it in the volume meters in OBS. And I mean, I hear the game. I know when the game gets real loud. And I end up like repeating myself, which is fine. Because otherwise I don't want the game to be too quiet. Another thing to keep in mind for me as well personally is that I don't want to have my headphones too loud because I don't want to lose my hearing. I don't know, I'm 25 now. I think I'm slowly reaching the point where I should think about how my hearing could be damaged from using headphones. That's part of why speakers are nice too. They don't pose that problem. This is an interesting car. Me personally, I need to hear myself in my headphones if I'm streaming or if I'm voice chatting with someone. Even if the game audio is really low in my headphones, I still have trouble speaking because my headphones to a certain extent you know, not drowns out my voice, it isolates. How do I words? Like my headphones isolate the outside sounds, which is kind of the point of earbuds or headphones in general, that you can shut out environmental sounds, but to an extent that includes my own voice. And so I have trouble speaking if I can't hear myself in my headphones while I'm wearing them, which is completely alleviated if I'm using speakers to begin with, because then I can definitely hear myself. And when I use headphones for streaming, then that's alleviated if I use the feature that my mic has to play back my own mic audio on top of the desktop audio. That's what I've been doing the last 1 or 2 years. It started with Hunt Showdown because when you play Hunt, you want to hear all the environmental sounds, but also how can I stream it without hearing myself? And I used to not want to use this feature of my mic because it's imperfect, but I ended up like using it routinely for voice chat and streaming while playing Hunt, because that's just what worked best. And then it became a habit for all the games I had, because it also eliminates the need to sync up desktop audio and mic audio. There's always a little delay between the mic audio and the desktop audio. Like when I put my microphone to my speakers and I press record in OBS, there's always going to be an echo, sort of, between the mic audio that picks up the desktop audio and the desktop audio itself, because the mic has a little latency, and it's always something between 10 and 50 milliseconds. And so when I stream with speakers, I need to account for that, because the mic will always pick up speaker sounds to an extent, and you can hear that on stream. You can minimize that by syncing them up perfectly, because then you don't hear the echo, then they're just perfectly layered on top of each other. That's not a problem when you use headphones, obviously, because the mic isn't going to pick up the headphones audio. But yeah, I have to consider if I want to get hearing damage, I think, because if I want to be able to hear my own voice over the game, then I have to make the voice louder in my headphones over the game. And I think that's not good for my hearing, especially if the game is like normal volume, and then my voice has to be way above normal volume for me to comfortably speak. And then on top of the fact that the game audio can be very dynamic sometimes, like parts of the game are very quiet and parts of it are very, very loud. Mic audio is the same way. And I use a compressor on my voice to, squish the volume range, the dynamic range of my mic audio, so that when I mumble, it's made a little bit louder automatically, and when I talk loud, it's made a little bit quieter automatically. In theory, that's the idea. And I don't really like compressors, personally. I don't really want to have the effect on my stream, but the problem is that speaking, like, it's hard to understand a person sometimes, even with a high quality mic when they're speaking, because some syllables will be extremely quiet while some syllables will be extremely loud. And like, if there's a lot of syllables that are quiet, maybe that's fine if you were only hearing my voice alone and nothing else. But then there's the game audio underneath as well, and sometimes it drowns me out in volume. And as far as that goes, having a compressor is like the best option. And I could go like full podcast radio compressor style, like Alex Jones, where he has his mic set up so that his voice is so incredibly squished. It sounds really odd. I mean, the same with like radios and podcasts, car or classic radios, like FM radios especially, which is historically probably because, you're listening to it in a car a lot of the time or while doing other things. And if you're in a car listening to radio, there's going to be a lot of background noises. So that's probably the reason why they use a compressor at like the highest ratio, so that their voices are still understandable. It makes sense. I personally don't like how it sounds. I don't want it on my stream really, but I begrudgingly use a little bit of compression. I have a compressor filter in OBS enabled, because I know that sometimes I'll mumble, and I don't know, if I'm not easy to understand, then makes my stream a little more annoying to listen to. I was gonna say less fun, but that implies that there's any fun in it to begin with. But I can at least make it a little bit easier for people. I think that might be enough. Damn, that's it. Did I already have this? I guess not, but I don't have the points for it. Oh, those pants are good. Wait, I want to wear them. They're cute. Cute. I need to grind Forza points too. Hot deal. Why is it always called mangrove and not woman grove? Oh, I don't need to use this car anymore. Thank the gods. Okay, we're done here. I'm gonna keep the Amaga's livery, but I'm never gonna use that car again. Let's use this one. Ever since I got this mic, it's a Blue Yeti from I don't know how long ago. I think I read somewhere on the packaging or something, 2014. But that could mean anything, like maybe that's like the trademark and it's actually from 2015 or whatever. Who knows? But I got this mic in 2019. Don't remember exactly, and ever since I got it, the mic that I was using before this sucked, and I used a lot of effects to try and clean up the sound or something. I don't know. When I got this mic, I wanted to leave it as untouched as possible because it's such a good sounding mic. At least compared to the one that I used to have. It's still a good sounding mic. Sound is pretty good. It's like semi-professional, which I like. I wanted to not... what's the right word for it? I didn't want to touch the sound of it. I don't want to taint it or anything like that, so I tried to use as few effects, as little as possible since the beginning, as far as I can remember. It's also easier to maintain my OBS settings and stuff if there's just less going on. If I use more effects, then there's more stuff that can go wrong, more things that I have to adjust, more things that could break. Especially if at some point I use third-party VSTs for noise removal. I think that's... I don't know. My mic has a noise floor that's not actually that good. Like, the noise floor is actually pretty audible compared to the... what it actually picks up. It's not that bad, but it's there, and it's bothered me a little ever since I got it. So I think at some point I used a VST, a third-party VST, to remove the noise. Then I stopped using it. And like, I don't think I'm missing it. 90% of the time on my stream, you would never be able to tell that there's a noise floor. Unless you're listening with like headphones at very big volume. You know, during those moments where there's no game audio and I'm not talking, but like, that's very rare. The problem with not using any effects on my mic is that, you know, sometimes I mumble, sometimes I yell, and even if I talk at the same volume at all times, sometimes I'm closer to the mic, sometimes I'm a little further away from the mic. There's no way to make it so that I'm always the same distance away from the mic and that I'm always speaking the same volume. And even in spite of all that, what I explained earlier as well, like, the way speech works, human speech, some syllables are just naturally quieter than others. Some are just like, I don't know how you say it, you barely hear them at all. Some are really loud. Which is why, with all of those, if you don't use a compressor, and you're streaming, and you have a lot of game audio, that can become troublesome. Especially if I want to have the game audio as close to my voice audio volume as possible. If I want to have both at a similar volume, and my volume just being a little bit louder. Damn, it's a lot of rambling about stuff that doesn't matter. Wait, can I not? Oh, I can't use the card that I'm using right now. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I begrudgingly use a compressor. I don't really adjust the settings that much though, because I do not enjoy doing that. It's really fucking boring. Where's my remote control? I do not enjoy sitting down and listening to recordings and adjusting stuff. But I also don't get paid for it, so that's fine. I do retroactively... I do retroactively watch and listen to some of my streams sometimes. And, it's very rare that my setup is, like, actually bad. Like the other day, I think the game audio drowned out my voice a bunch. And that's pretty much it. Is this an off-road course? It's okay. I noticed that on my last stream, was pretty quiet. I think a lot of them are. I don't know what to do about that. Especially when I'm using headphones. I mean, right now I could crank up the gain a bit more on my mic. Actually, I can't. Wait, I'm doing the calculations in my head. My mic audio needs to be louder. Let's unlock it in OBS. Okay. Now my mic audio is louder. Test, 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 test. That is louder a little bit. Max out the gain on my mic too. Although I don't know if I need to do that. I need to turn up the volume, the total volume in my headphones. I need to max this out, I think. I think this should be better. It should be more in the red area. Although it also should be completely stopped at -2 decibels. Could put the gain up a little more. And then the game audio. Here's the problem. In my headphones, they're already maxed out, the volume. So, if I want to turn up the game audio, I have to do that in the game. But then it's louder in my headphones too. This is the only way. It's not even easy to explain. I can't, okay, let's do this. Let's max out the gain here. And then, how is this? Now the game is a comfortable volume, but I don't hear myself as well. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. How long is this? Okay, then I'm gonna change it now. Here's the solution. Oh, here's the problem. Too many toasters. You know what they say, all toasters toast. Switch to desktop audio. What confuses me a little is that, wait, no, it doesn't confuse me. Let's lower the gain a little bit more. This is maxed out. And, when I'm mumbling like this, it should still be in the yellow, but maybe a little bit lower. Mumbling, mumble, 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 mumble. I think this is fine. And then when I'm louder, it should be louder. Yeah. Of course, there's no limiter. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not getting paid for this shit. That's the wrong video. Okay, apparently it's 8 milliseconds today. Yeah, my fans are going apeshit because of this game. Although it might actually be because of display capture. Should be good now. The game is very quiet though. And my computer has turned into a plane. Did I not save? Is it really that quiet? Thinking emoji. Oh, it is that quiet. It's in the volume mixer. I had it at half volume. Yeah, I did that. I did that at some point. Sounds more correct. But on stream, it's still way too quiet. You know what, I'll just crank up the desktop audio in OBS. I do have a lot of leeway, since I'm using speakers. I have no leeway when I use headphones because my desktop audio volume, when using headphones, is already set to 0. I do that because there's no separate way to individually turn up or turn down my mic audio in my headphones to be able to hear myself louder. Which is very stupid. I want the game to be louder. Louder. Also, why is it not doing anything? And so the way I handled it for most of the time was set the desktop audio in OBS to the maximum, but turn down the game volume individually, which is why I had everything, all the games in OBS for most of the time, the last 1 or 2 years, set to like 20% or something like that, as like a workaround, because that way, you know, making the desktop audio quieter, I could hear myself better on my mic. Because the mic, it doesn't let you just make the mic volume louder in your ears separately from the desktop audio. You can only make everything louder or quieter, so I had to do everything else individually quieter by quite a lot. That's why setting every game to 10% volume so that I could crank up the master volume and as a result hear myself better. But as a result, I also don't have any leeway upwards with desktop audio when I use headphones because it's already set to the maximum. So that's why earlier I switched from headphones to speakers because I got frustrated. Because even if I increased my mic audio, I couldn't increase the desktop audio anymore. Because in OBS the desktop audio gain was already at the maximum. And the only way to make the game louder on stream would be to make the game's volume louder here. But doing that when I'm using headphones means that the game volume increases while my own voice in the headphones doesn't increase, which means I hear myself worse, which means that's bad. So yeah, in conclusion, I think I'll just stream with speakers. Like every time. I'm tired of the headphones. Especially because it kind of hurts my head too. Like, I have to make my own voice real loud and then I'll get hearing damage too and it's uncomfortable. On top of the fact that there's always been the problem with the background noise. There's like white noise in the background when I use the headphone jack of my mic. Not because of the headphone jack, but because of the mic audio. When I mute the mic while I have my headphones plugged into the mic's headphone jack, if I mute the mic, I won't hear the white noise. If I unmute it, I hear the white noise. And so in the background, I'll always hear white noise. And I think in the long run, that's not good for your hearing either. As well as the fact that initially it really bothered me years ago when I started using it for Hunt Showdown. Except then I got used to it, and I don't know if it's good to get used to something that could cause hearing damage. Maybe the hearing damage is already done. Ew, Hoonigan. Okay, whatever. Well, this devolved into nerd ramblings. Gotta admit though, the game looks really good. And all things considered, it's running really well. For reference, these are my settings. It's almost all set to extreme or ultra or high. This is off because it causes glitches, but I have it turned on in the NVIDIA control panel. So I do think I have ambient occlusion turned on, but not like the game's ambient occlusion, but NVIDIA's ambient occlusion. I hate motion blur. I don't like the maximum lens effects. And these, I'm just worried about my CPU. I even have MSIA set to ×8. And the game is running effortlessly above 100 FPS at all times. I don't know if I've seen it dip below 100 yet. Which is basically all I ask for. I mean, not for it to dip below 100. I mean, for it to stay above 100 at all times. I do think the game is a little too loud on stream now. Because 60 to 100 is the biggest difference, improvement in terms of refresh. To me personally. I'm saying blurriness, like as if anisotropic filtering isn't on. Did the setting reset? Appears to be fine. What was I saying? I'll probably put this VOD on YouTube again. It's very boring, very quiet around here. Wish I could move my mic more. Maybe 10 kilometers are a bit further than I want to drive with a slow car. How about this? Oh, I realized I had no music on the entire time. I haven't even been missing it. I don't listen to the radios in this game anymore. Only allowed to use a Hoonigan car. Oh well. I choose Among Us. Don't you hate when you're drinking a glass of juice and your lips like start farting against the glass? Look at these reflections. Mega fancy. Does the surface not have any traction? Oh jeez. Oh. So there's that flag. That marker. I can't even hear the music. Oh no, 2 laps. I actually have emotes on my channel now. I only had the one with the popcorn before. But I filled up all the slots with those emojis and icon packs by a Twitter person called Stinky Katie, who does intentionally bad but cute art. I follow her on Twitter, and she just essentially provides like icons and emojis for free. And I got the idea of using them on my Twitch channel. I mean, I only have like a total of 10 slots maybe. I have like 4 or 5 free slots and then 5 for tier 1 subscribers plus 1 animated. So it's not that many, but I made sure to fill it all up. So now, regardless of whether you're subscribed or just a follower, you can use subs on my channel now. Spin. Oh, good. It's a lot of money. I like money. What's next? Might wanna do a Horizon arcade or two. Or 40 for the Forzathon points. Forzathon points. Forzathon. Yes. I want to drift a wreckage. Oh. I can do this. Wait, it's anything goes, right? Yeah. How far? 540. Oh man, you're kidding. I think I got it. Easy. It was a new PB too. Well, that was cheating. Speed. Speed trap. $281. I could do it with an off-road vehicle, but it's probably faster, quite literally and figuratively. Well, not figuratively, literally, but like in two senses of the word. Well, the word has the same sense in both cases, but like faster as in higher speed of car, and faster as in time. Some rare cars would be neat. Or just give me lots of money, that's fine too. Drift zone. Yeah, I can do that. Oh, it's in... Okay, I don't even need a drift car for that. Oh my god. I had to honk at them. At any cost. New PB. That's enough, right? Alright, I have a very long, like, there's a very long skill song, so I'm gonna make use of it. This might be very boring stream content. Then again, Is there any non-boring stream content that I do? Why else do I have no viewers? Should have been 10. Good. It's so sad that there's not more to do in this game. I mean, right now I do have stuff to do, like the weeklies, but that's limited. And a lot of it is restricted to certain cars. How much power is my PC pulling? Nearly 400 watts. It's like 396 watts. So, that's basically, well, that's not a space heater. Space heaters have a lot more power. But it's like a little space heater. In a room that's like closed, that has good air and heat insulation, that is essentially a heating radiator. I am playing the game with almost all the graphic settings cranked, basically. And I have it rendering unconstrained. We're doing more than over 120 FPS at all times. And I'm heavily CPU bound, but the GPU is doing a lot of work too. It's a miracle that the 4070 Ti is working with my power supply. Because you're not supposed to use a power supply with 600 watts. With the 470, I think they recommend, I don't actually know what they recommend, but they recommend something a lot stronger. Like 750. But no matter how much I stress test both CPU and GPU at the same time, no matter how much gaming I do that utilizes both of them a lot, it never shuts off or causes any problems. So I saved myself a lot of money. Oh, like, I don't know, 50 to 150 euros for a new PSU. Unless I get one that's like bad and cheap for 40. Which with a power supply is not particularly recommended. At least I'm making use of the 4070 Ti. I've been playing a lot of games recently that are like pixel art games and retro 3D. Like Elisa, for instance, essentially has Resident Evil 1 graphics, even if at a slightly higher resolution and probably an engine that has more overhead. But in terms of like how much it demands out of a modern computer, it's almost nothing. Little Witch in the Woods is literally a 2D game, and it's pixel art, so the assets are presumably not even high res, so like any potato can probably run it. What else? What else is there? Cozy Typer, which is a game that I played on one stream for like 5 hours. It's also 2D and doesn't even have movement. Alright, this will be the last run. Am I capped out, or... No, I'm not. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is... I don't remember actually. I don't know how it ran on my old build. And by old build, I don't even mean when I had the 2060. I mean when I had my GTX 970. That was the GPU that I had before the 2060 for my friend. I think that's what I played Crash on with the 970. So I've got to assume it wasn't great, but on the other hand, back then I was using a 1080p 60Hz monitor, which for that game, I think, with that GPU, that should have been perfectly fine. It's a 2017 game, and even then it wasn't particularly... It's weird because the game looks really good. It's such a well-made remake. They added so many like neat little effects, and the textures are really good, really well made. By effects, I mean stuff like reflections that actually looks like ray tracing in a way, but obviously the game isn't using ray tracing. They're just like hard-coded reflections, but they look really good. As well as like the environment, I don't know. It's very well crafted, that game. That remake of those games, that remake game. What other games were I playing recently? To drive further drive home the point of that I'm wasting my 4070 Ti on demanding games. Not seeing a whole lot actually. Oh god, Steam takes forever to launch. Okay, I mean it always takes forever to launch, to be fair. Oh yeah, Minoria and Momodora. Minoria is sort of a 3D game, but that game probably runs on a potato as well. Momodora is actually a low-res pixel art game that runs on an actual potato, most likely. You could literally run that game on an SNES, probably. Yeah, like, if you wanted to port it to the SNES, you could do that and not lose any functionality, I think. Judging by what I know of the SNES and its capabilities and its games, like Minoria, I mean, the SNES isn't going to render it at a high resolution, but like, the game's original resolution is like 240p, and if you have a bigger window, it just doubles that, and it does integer scaling. It doesn't really do a whole lot. Here's a screenshot. I think this would run on an SNES if someone put in the effort to port it. Which I find interesting. And yeah, that like... not making a whole lot of use of the 4070 Ti. But at least this game uses that. Previously with this monitor, with the 2060 that I had to keep it, I think I had it maxed. I had a frame limiter for 110 FPS. I don't remember exactly. And most of my settings were medium to low. I don't think I used ray tracing at all. And now I'm CPU bound. And I have all my settings on high or higher, except a few exceptions, like as I said, motion blur. I hate motion blur. SSAO is bugged, visually glitched, but I use SSAO forced in NVIDIA control panel. I don't like the high effects, the lens effects. I think they're ugly. The rest is just ultra or extreme. I think the only reason I have these on lower settings is because of my CPU. Because I worry that they cause stuttering and stuff. Because like loading them in off of the SSD drive and the CPU and maybe memory RAM constraints. It's not because of the GPU. But to be fair, the game like stutters a bunch either way, so I don't really know. Spin. I'm not gonna get that. I need FP. Also, what is this? I want this. What's the performance of this 928? I wonder if you could tune it up a little. In either case, gonna go through the cars and look for FP masteries. Cause I need FP. That's I don't know about that one, that's very expensive. Gonna have to figure out what I want to eat. The food that I've had so far today has not been particularly filling. The soup was nice. It was somewhat filling, but it's soup. It's not gonna be as filling as like, I don't know, fries and meat and dead animal. Not that I eat dead animal anymore. My diet hasn't changed. I'm still a plant hugger. Well, not literally, but like, I'm vegetarian. I don't actually hug plants. I don't really like plants. Yeah, gremlin. This battery pack that I bought for my Xbone controller, it's not very good. Oh, this has a pretty cool dashboard too. You know, if I was into Halo, which I'm not, I think that game can go die in a ditch. How did that happen? Why is there a plane on the runway all of a sudden? Since when is this possible? That's sick. But if I liked Halo, then I would enjoy this dashboard and cockpit thing. But I don't. Just for for the record. The X-Bone battery pack, it's a rechargeable battery. In theory, it's really neat because it very neatly fits into the battery compartment of the X-Bone controller. And it has a USB port for charging. The same type of USB port that the Xbox One controller has for plugging it into your computer and playing it wired. But like the rechargeable battery has its own USB port for charging. So that's really convenient. However, the battery life is not good. My DualShock 4 controller lasts weeks and months without charging. I mean, to be fair, I use it rarely, but if my DualShock 4 controller was still my main controller of choice, I would have to charge it like maybe once every couple of days. Whereas this third-party battery pack for my Xbox One controller, it dies every day. It does not last long. I need to try and keep track of what car I've gone through and which ones I haven't. Is that expensive too? No, I think that's worth it. This game has allowed me to get the most value out of my 4070. Sadly, the game does not have that much content. Well, at least for someone like me who played through it, who did all the solo events, got almost all of the accolades, there's just not a whole lot left to do. And I do all the weekly challenges and stuff. I kind of wish there were more though. That's not worth. The order of the cars changes every time when I switch car. It's really annoying. Makes it hard to keep track of them. I haven't looked at this one yet. And then Vantage 2019, and then I think I'm done. Then I'm done. No, fuck that. Not worth it either. I don't know about these. MSAA doesn't actually remove aliasing. It doesn't remove the stair steps. It just like makes them smaller. And I used to not like that. It's also very demanding. Because it kind of, I think, I'm not sure I understand it correctly, but I think it like increases the render resolution of the stair steps. And so as a result, they're smaller and less noticeable. But increasing the render resolution of something obviously has a big performance impact. And I used to not like that. I used to like it a lot smoother, and I used to use temporal anti-aliasing on this option, which I think works well, but I also noticed that when I turned it off recently that the game looks a lot nicer. Even with the crust. Like, it looks a lot more detailed in a way. Not worth. Part of why I'm not talking is because I'm like trying to focus and remember which ones I checked and which ones I haven't. Because there are a lot of oddies here. This one was next, and then the silver event. Got all of them. And then RS6 event and TTS Coupe. That's probably how you pronounce it in English. Oh no. Oh no. Don't do this to me. Oh hey, the CPU and GPU fans are quiet now. Bye. Does Car Simulator 3000 mean that there were 2,999 prequels to that? In a way, there are 2,999 prequels in my heart, so therefore it's real. It's odd that my GPU does not have RGB. OBS. Do you want to do your job or not? What do I pay you for? Good. I don't actually pay OBS. It's odd that my GPU doesn't have RGB. Odd in like a good way. Like 99% of all the GPUs, like consumer GPUs, are chock full of bad design and RGB and shit. This one isn't though. I bought one of the outliers that actually looks pretty. I was gonna say pretty, tasteful. Yeah, tasteful. Alright, my PC has turned into a plane again. It's not even that loud though. Like, for the performance that I'm getting right now, if you compare it to a fucking laptop, laptops are extremely loud. There are a lot more fans in this machine, and they are a lot bigger diameter than in a laptop or even in a server. And while they're audible, they're like, compared to a laptop, they're pretty comfortable, like pitch. So I should not really complain. I think that is all that I can do right now. Chaos, drift, is there one with speed? I do kinda need Forza points. Not right now, but let's this is a good horn. Let's do the treasure hunt. Why not? That one gives, yeah, it gives 100 FP. Lancelot was head of the table, but could he rally his men to victory? Yeah, well, that's very on the nose. Let's do a rally event. With a lancer. I love ducks, but I can never forget about the fact that they have corkscrew dicks and will, like, rape each other. As far as I know. It's a little fucked up. I mean, they're animals, they don't know better, so I guess that's fine, I suppose, but still. Ducks are something. I wish I could love them with the whole of my heart. But I kind of can't. With a Lancer? Where my Lancer's at? Yeah, great AI. What is going on here? Get the fuck out of my field of view, you fucking weeb. It's an AI driver. They're not actually a weeb. The game just automatically shows your friends list and also players from the server that you happen to be on and their car designs. And my only friend on my friends list on Xbox is a weeb. So what can you do? This isn't good. This is good. Oh, they spun out. They're stuck. Yeah, fuck you. Don't fast travel. Yeah, I too remember this game. I actually have emotes now on my channel. For once, for like the first time. The only emote I had before was the popcorn one. And now my emote slots are actually populated. They weren't commissioned or anything, but I think they're okay to use. They're from like a small Twitter person. Yeah, but this game came out like a year and a half ago. Yeah, those emotes. This game has ray tracing. It's a very new game. Look at these graphics. There are so many graphics, like almost 10. Well, the Forza series has been around for a while, but I don't know when the first one was, like 2010, maybe. I only started playing Forza with 4, which is a few years old, but it's on Game Pass, both 4 and 5. What racing game might you be thinking of? Like, what platform? I mean, it could still be Forza. It started, like... PS3? Did it come out on the PS3 back in the day? I mean, in terms of, like, time, it's totally possible, because, like, the first Forza probably came out on the Xbox 360. I don't know if it would have come out on the PlayStation though, because it's more of a Microsoft IP. I don't know if the PlayStation ever had Forza. I don't think the PS4 or PS5 have Forza. It's like an Xbox exclusive. But who knows? I never had a PS3. At least not back in the day. I have one now and it's broken. It's very sad. It wasn't broken when I bought it. It broke when I cleaned it. I didn't even disassemble it at that time. I just cleaned it with a little bit of water, but mostly I think iso alcohol. I might be able to revive it at some point if I manage to replace the HDMI encoder chip. which requires some really meticulous soldering. But that depends on when I get money again. So it's not like those chips are super expensive, but I already bought one and I ruined it because I suck. Oh, you were talking about Gran Turismo. Like, I was going to suggest that, but it feels like a very different franchise. Okay, I got FP. Gran Turismo is a very different franchise. Existed for a lot longer, too. Where's San Sebastian? I grew up with Gran Turismo 3 and 4 on the PS2. I guess it's around here. Let's just drive there. The reason I got a used PS3 is because I wanted to play Gran Turismo 5 and perhaps 6. That was the main reason. I even got it on disc. Like, they sold both the PS3 and a couple of games, one of them being Gran Turismo 5. But I haven't been able to actually play it. Because, you know, it broke. And Gran Turismo 5 and 6 are one of the few games. They're still making Gran Turismo. The most recent one is Gran Turismo 7, I think, which I actually got on disc for the PS4. I think it also exists for the PS5. That game came out very recently, like, I think less than a year old. But then Gran Turismo 6 was during the PS3 era, I believe. Yeah, and Forza Horizon is fundamentally different because it's an open world game. No, I do not play Need for Speed. I think I've never been into arcade racers, which Need for Speed kind of is at its heart. It's a racing game, kind of like Ridge Racer, that doesn't try to be realistic particularly. Which I seem to not really enjoy that much. It's not like I hate unrealistic games, but I think this like weird mix of realism, but not, I don't know. Personally, it's boring to me. No, Need for Speed didn't die. There have been new Need for Speed games. Need for Speed Heat and Need for Speed Unbound are extremely recent, as well as a bunch of remakes, like of Hot Pursuit was remade recently. Probably a couple of others too. It's one of those franchises that just will not die or go away, for better or worse. When the fuck did they even start? Like, the Need for Speed originally was a DOS game, wasn't it? Or I don't know if it was a DOS game, but Need for Speed 2 was a Windows 98 targeted game. 95 or 98. It was ported to the PS1. To an extent, Need for Speed is actually... Need for Speed Underground 2, I played that on the PS2 as a kid. A lot. Interestingly, I came back to it, I tried it out again in recent time on the PS2, and I learned that the game ran at like 30 FPS at most. The game dipped a lot to 10 FPS. That's a trend that I've noticed with a lot of PS2 games. With console games in general, they just run like shit. Like GTA 3 was ported to the PS2, and that also dips to 10 FPS a lot. But we accepted that as kids. We did not care. Either Need for Speed Unbound or Need for Speed Heat was made by, mostly the same devs who made the Burnout games. Which is why, I don't know which game it is, but one of them. Which is why the games supposedly have a little bit of a Burnout vibe. And the rest of the devs left the dev studio because they actually wanted to work on Burnout again, which the publisher didn't allow. The last Burnout that came out was Burnout Paradise, which I 100%ed because I really liked it. And after that, I think, was it EA? I think the franchise belongs to EA. Burnout, I mean. EA just made the devs work on Need for Speed instead. So this is like the 2010s. And then some developers split and made their own game studio. And have been prepping for making a game like Burnout Paradise, but, you know, newer. And obviously not using the same name of the game, because they don't actually have the rights to it, which sucks. You know, in short, fuck EA. Because we need another, like, 30th Need for Speed game. Even if the devs want to work on something else. It's so weird, Paradise came out 2009, I think. And there would be big money in it, I think. It's not an obscure franchise. There's definitely money in it to be made. Assuming that EA cares only about money, which, I mean, they do. They're big corporations, they don't have a soul or passion, they just want to make money. I am not finding the church. But if they have a need for greed, then doesn't that mean that they are not greedy? I think so. Yeah. Because you want to get speedier. You are lacking speed, so you have a need for some speed. It's not that hard. Where's this goddamn mural? San Sebastian. It's gotta be one of those dirt tracks. Dirt roads. Unconcreted roads. Oh no, I'm being followed. Help. Oh wait, that's a good thing. These gosh darn Zoomers. Yes, that sounds more correct. That's an anatomically correct way of phrasing it. What was I gonna say? I think the only Need for Speed game that I've really played was Underground 2. Person's sitting on the roof, what the fuck? I grew up with Gran Turismo 3 and 4. I don't know that I 100%ed it. I played both of them a lot. Gran Turismo 4 was more something that I played with my brother. But yeah, my childhood falls more or less in the time of Gran Turismo 3. But yeah, Gran Turismo 5, you would, so in terms of hardware, power and performance, it should not be an issue to run Gran Turismo 5 in an emulator. But the reality is, at this point in time, the PS3 emulator, RPCS3 or something, it's not there. Like, Gran Turismo 5 and 6, they start, but they're very glitchy. So you're only still able to play it comfortably on real hardware. Which is part of why I really want a PS3. I'm figuring it out. I don't think I'm reviving the broken PS3 that I have anytime soon. Hopefully in the future, because I don't want to throw it away. And I'm hopefully buying my IRL friends' used PS3. And then hopefully I'll be able to stream it playing Gran Turismo 5. Could be a while though. It's something that I really want to do, and I think the Gran Turismo franchise scratches an itch for me that no other franchise scratches, simply because it's got it's got a certain style, but I think the biggest thing probably is the circuits that are original to Gran Turismo, but have also existed in Gran Turismo since Gran Turismo 1 and 2. Like, there's real-life circuits, obviously, like Laguna Seca, which everyone knows and are in a lot of games. But then, in other racing games, there's other real-life circuits, like, I don't know, Australian Grand Prix or whatever, Like, yeah, they exist, but I'm not familiar with them. I didn't grow up with them, so I don't have as much of an attachment to them. Fuck. I'm trying to find... Okay, as like, for explanation, I'm trying to find this. The game gives you a hint, basically. San Sebastian. Do I already have that? I guess I already have that. I'm not just... okay. I'm not just like driving around for fun or whatever. I mean, I am doing it for fun. That's essentially what playing a video game means, but... I'm trying to find a mural. It's not a very big one. And, okay, yeah, this is the town. It has got to be somewhere around here. Gran Turismo has... They made their own tracks alongside some real world tracks ever since the first game. I'm not familiar with the first game, and I've only played the second game, Gran Turismo 2. Oh, there it is. Later on, a bunch. Like, I think I played it on... I need to pick a buggy. On a laptop, probably. Emulated. But ever since at least Gran Turismo 2, there's been original tracks like Apricot Hill. What other games? I don't know the names off the top of my head. There's the Tokyo Circuit. There are a couple. And when I play other racing games, I just miss them. And presumably Gran Turismo 5 and 6 have them. So I would enjoy playing those games, probably. Still can't afford that. Oh yeah, I wanted to change my pants. These are good. Sure wouldn't want to be caught with my pants down. Wait, why are they like pulled up like that? That's silly. Does it have to do with the boots? No, it doesn't. It's just how it looks. I don't like that. Not a fan. Oh, I don't actually own that. But that's fine. Seasonal championship. 2 rally championships. Rally monsters. Could possibly do that with the Ford, but it's restricted to 800 and under. Or 900? Did it say 900? It said 900. I can do it with the Ford. Cool. Practically speaking, the best case scenario is when a big publisher greenlights a game that I like and employs devs and artists that are very passionate. Which happens sometimes. I don't like big publishers. I don't like capitalism. But sometimes it lines up in a way that benefits me. Because you can say in terms of passion and consumer friendliness, yeah, indie devs are a lot better. Problem with indie devs is that they just don't have the manpower to make big AAA games. In those cases, it is better when EA comes along and decides to throw a big sum of money at a certain idea, and passionate people are allowed to go all out and do a lot with it. Because indie devs are also passionate, but yeah, they don't have the resources and like a full team of artists and stuff and devs and playtesters. I guess the point is that capitalism is bad, but not big game studios and like organizations. But it's very hard to have an organization, like a big group of people who work on the same stuff and be paid for it. People have to live off of something, because we unfortunately don't live in a communist utopia. But yeah, EA published Mirror's Edge Catalyst. EA published Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I mean, Mirror's Edge Capitalist isn't even so wrong, because it's a cyberpunk themed game. It's about a capitalist dystopia. Like the cops that you fight again in Mirror's Edge and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, they're private cops. I don't even know if there are state cops. But yeah, Mirror's Edge Catalyst was a game that was made possible by EA, and it was a very high value game. Like, it's not a little pixel art indie game that can be made by one person. It has voice acting, it has big assets, it has a big story and stuff. What puzzles me personally, though, is that EA doesn't charge almost anything for that game. Mirror's Edge Catalyst is free on Game Pass if you have it, and even if you don't, you can get it for like $6 or less on a Steam sale. And originally that game was like 60 or 70 bucks. And it just puzzles me that they lower the price so much. But then at the same time, they're still a big corporation. They try to make money with shitty franchises. I would have totally been ready to pay more for Mirror's Edge Catalyst for how much I got out of that. With big corporations like that, it totally seems like when they become so big, they start living in their own little weird-ass fucking management world and have no idea what people actually want. And they become corporate ghouls who wear suits and talk about the bottom line only. It's kind of how politics are too. Couple of delusional people who are given way too much power. Politics seems more like a game than it seems to be about passion and enacting change. Oh wow, my anarchist is showing itself. I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. And republics are good, I think. I should try to talk less about politics and actually win this match. Win this race. Yeah. Don't brake, just drive into walls. Like, why are people running the world who are completely unaffected by their decisions and who live in their own little stupid bubble? Oh my god. And there are passionate politicians, but passion and caring about doing the right thing does not get you anywhere. What gets you places is playing the game, having connections, being paid by lobbyists. The game I'm playing right now is probably... How does that happen? Not possible without a big publisher stepping in and funding it. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy indie games, because I do. but I also really enjoy games that have, you know, a lot of assets and a high visual quality and cool technology. Like, this game has so many highly detailed car models, and I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate how good the world looks and all the, like, technologies that the game uses. They probably have to pay royalties for ray tracing to be allowed to use it or something, I don't know. And I appreciate that it exists because it improves the game quality and experience. I think quality and detail and fidelity, all like that, can be a really nice experience, even if it's not totally necessary for every game. Like the other game that I've been playing, Little Witch in the Woods, it's a 2D pixel art game. Games like that can be made by 1 or 2 people. And they're very fun. But yeah, if they want to make something bigger and more ambitious, they're just held back by stuff like money. It's nice to think that even if you don't have a gigantic publisher standing behind you doing marketing and willing to do an investment, that you could still make a big ambitious game with crowdfunding and donations. But it's just kind of naive, because that's sadly not how it works. Why is that car in front of me so much faster? It doesn't make sense. Fuck you. I was trying to drive into them, but I just sped them up, I think. Well, that was one chance. No. Fuck ass. Oh, that just pisses me off. I mean, in the end, it's still a skill issue, because if I drive better, then I can overtake them, but still. Oh man. And even worse, they start first. There's no, like, qualifying or anything, and it's not shuffled. Of course, the person with the fastest car and the fastest AI is just starting first. Nintendo never, like, puts their games on big sales or lowers the price. And I kinda don't understand idle practice. Any of the earlier Nintendo Switch titles are still extremely expensive. And, what's it called? Tears of the Kingdom. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be about like $70. Good fucking luck affording that. Which I suppose would be fine if it's just released, but I mean, Mirror's Edge Catalyst was about that much when it was released. And a lot of games back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, were also that expensive. Like cartridges back in the day, especially if you adjust for inflation. The games have always been, like, some of them have been very expensive. Problem is, EA will lower the price and sometimes put them like on Game Pass or EA Pass for free. As I say, you can have Mirror's Edge Catalyst for less than $10 nowadays. Even though it's a AAA game with so much like resources put into it. The game is worth a lot more than what you can get it for these days. Which I don't understand, but neither do I understand Nintendo, who does never do sales or any big sales. If you have a Nintendo Switch, I feel sorry for you. Unless you buy games used, which I suppose is probably the only reasonable way to do it. Because even titles that are multiple years old, like, how much is Breath of the Wild these days? It's probably still at least 30. From what I heard, none of the games ever change price. They don't lower the price ever, and they don't do big sales. I don't want to talk so loud. EA is a bunch of capitalist assholes, so why do they lower the prices of their games so much? One of the worst examples as well, in the case of Nintendo, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. A game which looks like a PS3 game. Legitimately. It looks like a PS3 game and it runs worse. The Nintendo Switch has very outdated hardware. But it is possible to make a game that doesn't look dog shit and make a game that runs at reasonable frame rates. And there are a lot of them on the Switch. I know that even though I don't have one. Because of that streamer, Vinesauce, that I watch a lot, but also other streamers that have a Switch. It has a lot of well-made titles that run well. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is not one of them. It's honestly, I don't know how to say it. It's awful. It's a disgrace. And guess how much that game costs? It was like $60 on launch. If not more. And it's probably still $60 because Nintendo doesn't do sales. What's frustrating too is that the last Pokemon game that came out on a Switch before that, Pokemon Arceus, it looks really good. It looks really well made and it looks very pretty. So how did they fuck up the title after that so much? I don't know. I mean, it's not Nintendo who developed it, it's Game Freak. But it seems like Game Freak is like very close with Nintendo. Or they're like a subsidiary. Maybe. Could be that Nintendo pushed them to publish it sooner. Before the game was even done. Or I don't know. Demanding $60 for that piece of ass. Not good. this game, if you buy it, it's free on Game Pass, but if you buy it, depending on the edition, it's like 60? When it's on sale on Steam, I think it's actually between 30 and 40 euros or something like that. This game is worth that money, in my opinion. Both like objectively, because you can see how much work went into it, all the car models that are extremely detailed, the environment that is really pretty, the content that it provides, but also to me personally, because I have played a lot of it. For the money that I've paid to play this, I have paid for Game Pass. It's like 10 euros a month, but I got a sale on the Game Pass subscription at some point, I think in December, and then I paid for it 2 months since, I think, or 3, full price, which I suppose is like 30 euros. I've played other games on Game Pass too, so it's not even like I paid that money for this game. There's so many other games that I could play. As I said, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is on Game Pass, and that's huge value in my opinion. I don't know the amount of hours I've put into this game, or if I can say it anywhere, but it's many hours. It's like MMO levels of playing time. So for me personally, sentimentally, and practically, this game is worth quite a lot. But never in a million years would I pay 60 euros for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Well, I'm actually getting 160 frames right now. I'm getting some micro stutters though, or like mini freezes from loading environment. I've been rambling so much this stream. It's incredible. This is going to be a good NyQuil replacement for anyone who watches the VOD. I'm definitely re-uploading this to YouTube. There are a lot of new games coming out by publishers that are extremely expensive as well, and I don't understand those. I mean, it might be part of their business model to rope you into paying for Xbox Game Pass or EA Play, or whatever it's called. Because if you've got someone on, if you've caught a fish on the hook, you don't have to reel them in, you can just let them hang and suffer, and they will never let go. That's the idea of subscription-based services, which I suppose is fine. I don't know if it's better or worse than paying for virtual games that you don't physically own anyway. If you want to play Forza Horizon 5 for a month, you pay $10, which is nothing compared to the full price of the game. For consumers, it's fine. And from what I can see, it's not, at least Game Pass doesn't do it in like a predatory way. In fact, I don't know the numbers. I mean, I have to guess that Microsoft know what they're doing. Like, they're a big corporation. They have to know that they're getting margins out of Game Pass. But to me personally, the value that you get from Game Pass is pretty big. Especially when they sometimes do, like, specials where a Game Pass month costs only $1. But yeah, other games like Battlefield, Call of Duty games, their full prices are insane. Those games are, or like the Modern Warfare remakes, those games are not new. They're remakes. A lot of them are chock full of microtransactions too. And then they slap an extremely high price tag on it that nobody can afford, except a lot of people apparently do. Which I also don't understand, like why give EA so much money. And then the price lowers so much over the course of the few years afterwards that it gets so low that it undervalues the game. Like with Mirror's Edge, I don't understand. Oh, I'm getting rubber banding because my CPU is struggling. That's a lot of heat. Why even pay for heating if you can just have a 40 series RTX card? Apparently my internet just dipped a little. Seems fine now though. This game's frame rate options are bad. Can either run it unlimited at my refresh or half. And I don't want to run it at 83. I want to run it at like 120, or at least 90. Those 8 frames extra would be very noticeable between 82 and 90. I hope I get paid again soon. So much stuff I want to buy. isn't LCK starting? It's Friday. Oh, what happened to my Wi-Fi? What the heck? They're not live. Oh. Wait, no. I thought my mom was heating, maybe, but no. Our heating is off. Nah, it just feels that hot. Probably because of my computer. Pulling nearly 400 watts the last 2 hours. Mother said it is my turn with the serotonin. Fuck you, it's mine. Come and pry it from my dead hands. Funny that you mention it. Actually, I don't know exactly how it works, but I am in withdrawal. Like minor sertraline withdrawal. And a part of that is lacking serotonin. I don't know if my like physical side effects or physical withdrawal effects are directly from the serotonin amount difference. I don't know. Because most psych meds have a lot of side effects. They do a lot of wacky stuff with your body. So, reducing them or weaning them off, your body will complain. No matter what. Could be that it's not because of... Could be that the serotonin is not the problem. Although the fact that I am getting brain zaps and I recognize them as such, like at this point I know what brain zaps are when it comes to my body. The fact that I'm getting those consistently every day for the last like week, I think it has to do with serotonin. So yeah, it's my turn on the serotonin. Gib. I do not hear the radio at all. I mean, I hardly hear the game at all, but... I hear some of it. was a kid, I played a lot of Need for Speed Underground 2 on the PS2, and that game on the PS2, in reality, it runs at like 30 FPS. I don't know if it's actually locked to it, but I know for a fact that it dips below 20 a lot. That game did not run well. But I played it a lot as a child, and I don't remember it being so stuttery. So I was quite taken aback when I looked at it again the other week. Or the other week. It might be a couple months ago by this point. A lot of games were like that. And as a child, as a wee lass, as a little gremlin, I apparently just did not give a shit. And compare that today to today when I set this game to 83 FPS and it feels like 30. I mean, it could be because of bad frame pacing, to be honest, but it could be because of bad frame pacing. I'm gonna lower the game a little more. I'm guessing that it's drowning me out sometimes. Maybe half a decibel more. Even without the newfangled monitors that go above 100 FPS, or 100 Hertz rather. Even just with my 60 Hertz monitor, I've been spoiled. Because I think most of my games on the 60 Hertz monitor were 60 FPS. I don't even know how we used to do it without G-Sync. It feels like standard these days. Like, yeah, my computer is not always going to hit the target frame rate that I want. So the frame rate is going to fluctuate a bunch. And the game still looks like you can't see it moment to moment when the frame rate fluctuates. Like, it just displays it either way. But that's a somewhat new technology, that's adaptive sync / G-Sync. And without it, you get so much stuttering and tearing. And I don't know how people used to do it when they had 60 Hz monitor that didn't have G-Sync, and their game didn't always hit 60 FPS. But I suppose back in those days, I was younger and I didn't care that much about frame pacing and tearing. As I said before, I played Need for Speed Underground 2 on the PS2. At least as an 80-year-old back then. I did not give a shit. Can't believe this race is finally over. Don't I already have that? Yeah, I do. spin. I should be more thankful for high refresh monitors and G-Sync. Cause holy shit, the trouble that you have with a 60Hz monitor without adaptive sync. Quack. That's not worth. Chaos. Drift. But I wanna do speed. I have a need, if you will. I have two of these. Oops. Should do some other stuff. I really should do Horizon Arcades, but I don't want to do Drift or Chaos. Let's say just this time. Try out Chaos. Oh, that's not good. How's that? Are the other people actually doing anything?
Round one complete. Get to round two. Blaze that trail.
Yeah, blaze my trail. Yes. Was I muted? Or did I just like fail to mute myself just now? Cause I know I didn't mute myself. I don't know if I pressed the wrong button and like fat fingered it or something, but...
Round two complete. Get to round three. Find those skill gains.
Oh, the same thing as round one, huh? Probably better off just drifting. Why does the speed zone have to appear? Why is it not going away? Yeah, bye.
Round 3 complete. Congratulations!
Good.
You win!
Wreckage. 7 minutes. That's basically it. There's only one seasonal championship left. I don't know if I really feel like doing that anymore. Let's go home and buy an expensive new car. Yep, that's the only one I can afford anyway. 1.5 million. This is normal. I don't know if those are worth it. I don't think they are. I'm a bit annoyed by my mom entering and leaving my room. It just pisses me off. I know that's kind of a first world problem, but she's also like, I don't know, being noisy, and she's like cleaning up, and I feel psychologically like suffocated by that a tiny little bit. It was a lot more comfortable 3 hours ago when I started to stream. That's over 3 hours though. I can definitely stop streaming without feeling guilty. Is this worth 533? Yes, but also... Oh, I can afford it. Good. Good sound. Can't afford that. Well, maybe soon. I will stop here and be annoyed on my own. I also have to figure out how to make food considering that the kitchen is occupied now. I don't know. Don't know if anyone's still left, but thanks for watching and hanging out. I might be back one day. Maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna get hit by a train tomorrow. Or a bus. Or something. Not intentionally, just... I don't know, anything could be happening. Anything could happen. I'm sorry for being awkward. I'm bad. Take care. Drink water. Take your meds. I will be back one day. Probably. Bye-bye.